Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Thanks to Khan for this one. Amy controls Wyll, Blade of Frontiers, and she activates President House with no treasures. She rolls a 4 and a 6. How many counters does she put on Wyll? How many tokens does she create with Mr. House? Okay, so first off, what happened when House's ability resolved? We were going to roll a 6-sided die, but Wyll's ability replaced that with rolling 2 dice and ignoring the 4. So I think it should be pretty uncontroversial to say that Wyll's ability should only trigger once. After all, it triggers whenever you roll 1 or more dice, and Amy definitely just rolled 1 or more dice. So Wyll gets 1+1+1 counter, and the answer is no different if Amy would have used some treasure mana to activate House's ability. All the dice get rolled at once as part of the same game event, and so that only counts as one instance of rolling 1 or more dice. So Wyll only gets 1 counter, because when we rolled 2 dice and ignored 1, we rolled the 2 dice at the same time. But it turns out there's another reason why this trick doesn't work, and it has to do with the answer to the second part of the original question. What tokens does House create as a result of rolling a 4 and a 6 and ignoring the 4? Well, at first glance, it might seem like you rolled a 4 or higher 2 times. House's ability doesn't include the 1 or more line that Wyll's does, which would mean that such an event would constitute 2 distinct triggers. Unfortunately, according to this rule here, the roll that we ignored doesn't count. For the purposes of anything that triggers when you roll a die or when you roll a certain result, the roll is considered never to have happened. So House's ability also will trigger only once as well. Since we kept a 6, that means we will get a robot and a treasure from the trigger, but we will not get a second robot the way Amy was probably hoping. Let's notice that because House does not have the 1 or more line, that means that if you roll multiple dice at the same time, you still can get additional triggers out of that. So if you wanted to get multiple robots or even multiple treasures, you could sacrifice some treasures to activate this ability and roll some additional dice. You would get the tokens of the appropriate type for each die roll that was high enough and isn't ignored. You know what else Mr. House doesn't say? What kind of dice you have to be rolling. Obviously, if you're rolling a d6 with its own ability, that can cause it to trigger. But it works just as well with any other dice, with one important exception that I'll note on screen. If you want to tip the odds a little bit more in your favor, try passing a DC6 check to get a bonus treasure with Ancient Copper Dragon. Anyone should be able to manage that. Well, anyone except the cleric for my D&D party last week. If you're interested in some more rulings involving dice, maybe you'd like a bit of a refresher since they show up on quite a few of the new Fallout cards, I made a video that gives a broad overview of the topic a while ago, and I'll leave a link to that in the description if it sounds like something you would be interested in. That's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.